family lives in Orangeburg, and her uncle let me stay with him while I was here for the week.
Good Lord.
Yeah. And I came and I said, where's my job? What's going on? And they gave me a temporary contract, P13, and I got my official contract in April. And I've been here ever since January of 1999.
And that's
1999. It's 22 years, I think. I did it on Google. Google said 22 years.
22 years.
22 years, right. And this January will be 23.
And you've been there long.
Yeah. My plan was only to stay here for 5. Yeah.
5 and do what?
Move to New York or do something, because my best friend Tammy had moved to LA, and I was gonna move to LA with Tammy and all stuff like that. And but God, of course, had different plans, right? But one of the things that happened to me at UNCG was I wanted to try to get into the business, and I was doing different kind of trying to figure out how to do things and stuff. But I was also struggling because I was trying to make bills meet, because with an assistantship I didn't get that much money. So I mean, I got money, so I really didn't have to work if I stayed on campus, but of course I couldn't do that, right? So I stayed on campus, right? And then I also started doing radio with Tammy. I started doing personalities on the radio, and I started doing all that stuff like that, and I really enjoying all this stuff that I'm doing, right? So in fact, I had some of the people from the radio station and everything in one of my plays, Life and Times of an African Queen. In fact, if you remember, for those people from Charleston, remember Deja D. So Deja D was going to school with me and Tammy. So all of us went to school at the same time, and Deja D was in the play, and Tammy was in my play. And so and I had some other people, they had advertised it on the radio. And oh man, I was big time. You couldn't tell me. I was what? I was Greensboro famous. Right, Greensboro famous, right. Okay, so, well, I had a meeting with an older agent, and someone was trying to hook me up with it. And as I was talking to the lady, I already had fears, because at that time, I felt like the industry didn't welcome big black women who couldn't sing, because I'm not a singer, although I do sing on TikTok. So I'm not a real singer. You like how I did that, right? Okay. I'm not a real singer, so I was thinking the industry didn't welcome me. I had my own fears and insecurities. And what she said to me, she was like, okay, and this is what I remember. And she could have actually said something entirely different. But what I remember, or what I took away from it, was that because of my size, that things would be kind of rough for me, because I would be playing older women, right, because I was a big woman, but I had a really young looking face. Now the industry was very different then. They were not looking for, now they're looking for interesting faces, and they're looking for real people. So sometimes they'll hire, and like you see the advertisement, we want a real fireman. We want this because we want the people to have that realisticness about them. So at that time, in my opinion, they were looking more for people who had a certain kind of look or something like this, and that was probably in my head, dipped into my insecurities at that time. And so I was like, okay, it was a hard pill to eat, but instead of me going like, oh, boom, well, they're going to let me in, they're going to do this. No, what I did was like, I went this way. Because see, one of the other things I like to do too is teach. All right. So I started doing this. One of the other things I like to do is write and produce and act. And so all those things, act in theater and stuff. So I kind of did a curve this way.
Yeah, just took more of it.
Right. And so I went this way. And I'm trying to think. It might have been, I had Deja D came to speak to us one year. And that was a year right before her career just blew up, right? And so as she was talking to the students and everything, I really began to think about what I was doing and where I wanted to go. And the year my mother died in 2012, I was actually putting together the South Carolina Theater Association, their conference festival. And Tammy Mack came down. She was a speaker. We had Kel Mitchell came down, and he was a speaker. And Yes, Keenan and Kel, I'm sorry. And Andrea
No, I
Craven.
just said it just
Oh, okay.
so
So the
that the younger
people
so that the younger audience would know it's Kel
from
from
Keenan
Keenan
and
and
Kel.
Kel.
Okay, yeah. So they came, and also Andrea Craven. And Andrea Craven was a casting, it still is a casting director. And so she came down, and we had some other casting directors, and they did this. And Tammy did a monologue slam, so like the one she did in L.A., but she did it here. And at the time, I call him my son, Erskine Johnson. He participated in that. And so, I talked to Andrea, and Andrea's like, oh, I would pick this person, and she did some stuff. And so because of that connection, he started being in the game. So he was in the game as a football player in his senior year here at South Carolina State.
Wow.
He started doing I'll tell you who he is. Remember on Atlanta, the dude on the commercial that said the price, the Arizona thing, the price is on the can.
Yeah.
That's him. Right. So
Wow,
now
okay.
this he was doing while a senior here at South Carolina State. So Andrea Craven does some background casting for Bill Marinella in Atlanta. So I started submitting stuff for her. So I was like, okay, while I'm here running the program, I'm writing, I'm directing, I'm doing that. I'm like, I'm getting my foot back in the door. And it was Andrea who, man, she just blessed me so, because I got the opportunity to be background and to work different things. And I've had, for when Star came out, and they were just, nobody knew the name, and they were just kind of filming it. I had opportunity I was the last two between this to be a featured extra on the thing, to play, not a featured extra, to play this role on the thing, and they end up picking the other person, you know what I'm saying? But all of that happened because Andrea, really, and I'm not saying that she did more for me than she did anyone else, but she was just who she was.
Did what everybody else did.
Yeah, she did what everyone else did, and she thought I had talent and I had this, and so because of her, I was getting in doing wonderful stuff. And so I'm traveling from here to Atlanta and coming back and doing this stuff like that. And then,
and what year is this?
This is 2012.
Okay.
2013, 2014. I'm doing all this stuff like this.
Okay.
And then I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna get serious about really doing this, get my headshots, doing all this stuff. And I really made a lot of excuses because I had so much on my plate.
Okay, but now that's pause for a second, because now this is when I get a thing. So I got a question, because that's when you add in. I'm gonna tell you what I remember, and I'm gonna ask you what your opinion is. Because even as a playwright, what would you say that your biggest playwright on state was?
On state was the church fight. Everybody, church fight. That was one of the things.
Well, I remember when you had church fight. This thing, the
Henderson Davis Theater.
Henderson Davis Theater was sold out. All shows.
Oh yes.
Packed. Sunday night, standing ovation.
Yeah.
I'm not even putting no cap on it.
No.
And I was young, and I remember it being good.
Yeah.
So I got a question. So, because that had to be the high. So when you did that play, did you think then I'm about to go on the road? Because at that time, not compared to Tyler Perry, because you are Ursula Robinson,
right.
you are. But at that time, the Tyler Perry things, I don't think
it was out. It was kind of out.
It was still the stage page. Yeah. David E. Talbot.
Yeah.
Because those are the only two guys that had like DVDs.
Jacarius Johnson and that stuff. So yeah, now all those things were kind of happening, but they weren't as big as they are now. Right. Okay. So what happened man, church fight was just like awesome, and it's like, yeah, it was just wonderful. But it was about 15 people. That's too many people to take on the road. First of all, it was a lot of folks to take on the road, and it was great. And I did other things and stuff after that. But at some point in time, I got.
It burned you out?
I got burned out because I had so much on me. Because I was single-handedly running this program. Doing everything. I was doing everything.
And weren't you also in the play and directing the play?
Yeah.
Were you in